Hello everyone, Janae here with the Power of Pleasure, and I am not in my usual hauntings. I'm actually in West Palm Beach, Florida. It's totally beautiful. I'll show you. I'm sitting here on the Intercoastal, having just had a lovely bike ride. And today's live video is about what are the things that men need in a relationship. So this is my own perspective. Some of you may have your own perspective as well, and I'd love for you to be able to share in comments. I know it's probably early West Coast time for my West Coasters. It's only 8 o'clock in the morning. It's 11 o'clock here. So here's what I think. From all of the work that I've done with my male clients and what I see in the context of the couples counseling that I do as well, I think there are several things that men need in order to be able to come into a relationship and stay in a relationship in a way that makes them really connected. So there's no particular order for this, but I'll just talk about what I think is important. So I think one of the most important things that men need is acknowledgement and appreciation. Particularly in the context of long-term relationships, and I'm talking about maybe even traditional hetero long-term relationships where the man is, feeling, whether it's true or not, but feeling like he's doing the work and supporting the family, and the female is perhaps staying home and taking care of kids or has a part-time job or whatever it is. That's a very common dynamic that I run into in my world, in my practice. Men need to feel acknowledged and appreciated. So for a lot of men, they just feel like their efforts are never enough. Like, I don't do enough. I hear this all the time, I'm supporting the family, I'm working my ass off, what else do you want from me? What else do you want from me? And I think we take our partners for granted. Both men and women take our partners for granted, but men need to have some words of appreciation, and even just a little word of appreciation, like, thank you so much for taking out the garbage. I really appreciate that you did that. It doesn't take a lot for a man to feel more relaxed and safe in the context of a relationship when they feel that their efforts are actually being appreciated. So acknowledgement and appreciation, I think, is one of the very, very key needs that men have in the context of relationship, and also in the context of a sexual relationship, right? Even if you're not in a long-term relationship, but it's a sexual partner, like, thank you so much for how you just loved up my body, or thank you so much for the ways in which I just felt really good and had a lot of pleasure or had an orgasm. This is important, that we acknowledge and appreciate each other. And it goes both ways. It's not just what men need, women need it as well. I always tell my clients, like, we have this bank. And in the bank, we need to make sure that it's like 7-to-1 appreciations to every one criticism. Because the opposite of what men really need in terms of appreciation, and what really is challenging for a lot of men and turns them off to relationship and builds up anger and resentment, is criticism. And I don't know why this is. I really don't understand it, but my sense is that it's almost like genetic, that so many female partners are just highly critical. I imagine it's because we have built up anger and resentment. It may just be a way of showing caring. It may also be the tendency for women to wanting to take care of somebody and sort of treating a partner like a child. But there's a lot of criticism that I think men receive in long-term relationships, and that is something that goes against the appreciation. So appreciate them and really watch how often and how critical you are of your partner. When I work with couples, I'm sitting there and I'm going like, yep, you just criticized him again. Yep, you just criticized him again. Well, since you sat down, you've criticized your partner 10 times. Sometimes we're not even aware of it. It happens because we're angry and resentful, but criticism just pulls us apart. It does not put us together. So appreciation rather than criticism is a really important piece that men actually need. I also believe, and I write about this in my book, that men have as much body shame about their cock and penis as women have around their body. And I think it's really important that we also appreciate their body parts. You know, how often do you actually tell your partner, oh my God, you have such a beautiful cock. I just love it. I love the way it feels. I love the way, I love what happens when I put it in my mouth. I love the way it looks. Like, we need to really appreciate our partner's body and especially their penis, because there's a lot of men have a lot of shame around that. That's another way in which you can really help give a man what he needs, is some appreciation for his body to help him get rid of his own body image shame, which a lot of men also harbor. Another thing that men need is emotional intimacy. I know it sounds like so often I'm saying women are the ones who need emotional connection, but men actually really want emotional intimacy and connection. And the thing is that the way in which they find emotional intimacy and connection is really different than the way women find emotional intimacy and connection. So for many women, we need to feel emotionally connected to our partner before we can open ourselves up sexually. That's just the way most women seem to be wired. It's really opposite for men. Men go to sex for emotional intimacy and connection. And I hear a lot of my couples tell me, like, oh, after we have sex, like, he's so much nicer to me. I'm feeling so much more connected from him. So the dance here is, how do you find a way in which you can both get your needs met? Like, you, if you're in a hetero relationship, can make sure that you get the emotional intimacy and connection you need before you are ready to go to sex, and understand that what men need and the way in which they get emotional intimacy is through sex. Sexuality and having sex with a partner opens up their heart, and I think you might notice that after that happens, they're often a lot more cuddly and a lot more warm. Again, big generalizations here, and I don't like to make big generalizations, but I'm making them anyway, that they're just a lot more connected emotionally to you, and some of the things that maybe really bothered both of you before intimacy actually starts to change after intimacy. So that's another big need that men have in order to feel emotionally connected, is to have access to sex. I think also we have a tendency to underestimate that men have a need to be able to open themselves up and express what's going on. You know, I feel like so many men come into my office and tell me, like, there's so much I really want to talk to my partner about, but I don't feel emotionally safe in order to be able to do that. You know, most men want to be able to express their feelings because they do have feelings. Sometimes it's hard because so many men have been conditioned not to be able to express feelings. That's the way they were conditioned as little kids. They were told not to cry. They were told, you know, crying is not what men do. Like, be a man, buck up. But in fact, men are very sensitive as well, most men, and have a need to be able to talk about what's going on. But they also, again, need to be able to do this from a place of safety. And for safety for men means that their partner isn't going to criticize them, that their partner is going to willingly listen to them and also see them and hear them. And I think this is just a piece around relationship that is related to being very vulnerable with each other and being able to feel like you can open up and share from your heart, even though it might be painful to share. And again, this is something that women need as well. I mean, this is the key to a successful long-term relationship. The key to a successful long-term relationship is vulnerability. Into me see, right? If you think about intimacy, the word, into me see. I see into you, you see into me. But that can't happen, and we can't have the empathy that we need unless we can be vulnerability. And I guess that would be the fourth piece that I think is really important for men, is to know that their partner can be empathetic with them. You know, their partner can take a moment, hear them, see them, and say, wow, I get it. Like, it must be really hard for you to have to feel like you have to support our family, and the pressure that you feel in order to know that we can live the life that we want to live, right? A lot of men feel that that is their responsibility. That's what they were taught as a boy. Like, it's your responsibility to take care of your family. It's your responsibility to make sure there's enough food on the table. It's your responsibility to make sure that you can continue to pay your $7,000 mortgage payments. And that's a lot of pressure for men. So I feel like, you know, being able to have the empathy, right, to be able to see, like, what is it like to be in my partner's shoes, is another need that men have from their partners, for their partner to be empathetic. That is very challenging for a lot of people because we're so stuck in our own story and stuck in our own shit that it's hard for us to actually find the space to be able to connect with what's actually going on with my partner. But that's something that's very important in a relationship. It's another way in which we can really assure the strength of a long-term relationship, is to be able to be in a space of empathy and vulnerability. So I think that's it for what I think men need in a relationship. Again, sorry for my West Coasters that this is so early in the morning for you. So you'll listen to it afterwards. I'd still love for you to hop on and provide some comments and let me know if you agree with this. And also, what else do you think that you need in a relationship in order for it to be successful, in order for you to feel safe emotionally, and in order for you to feel that you get your needs met? Okay, ciao for now. See you next Thursday. I'll be back in California, although I'll just had dental surgery, so who knows what that Facebook Live is going to look like. Ciao.